Hey guys, the Explorer 4 is back. Looking back to some more reviews. I know that it's been about 4 or 5 days since I made a video. I apologize for that. That's ridiculous, and I understand that. I should be uploading more than that, and I do apologize for that. That is ridiculous. But something personal had happened earlier in this week that I kind of needed to recover from. I had no energy to do movie reviews, and I just got back into doing the either daily reviews or at least 1 day apart reviews. So if they're not daily reviews, like reviews every day, then it's at least 1 day apart. I wanted to get back to doing that schedule for right now. But unfortunately, something personal had happened earlier this week, and earlier in the week, and I just needed to recover from it, and I had no energy to do movie reviews. But today is Saturday. The week has been great so far. I've had a lot of fun so far during this weekend. And I got the energy back, so I wanted to do some more videos. Now, you guys might be getting 3 videos tonight. A review, which I'm doing now. A vlog later on, which won't be that long of a video, but it's a very, very important vlog. Those of you that have been on the Facebook page probably already know what that vlog's going to be about. But if you guys are on the Facebook page, I'll be making a similar video like that. And then the third video will be announcing the 2 franchises that you guys want me to review, first place and second place. So I'll be announcing that a little bit later on as well. So I got a movie review for you guys, a vlog for you guys, and a little bit later on a video announcing the 2 winners of the franchise contest of what you guys wanted me to review. And first up is a movie review on M. Night Shyamalan's The Happening. Now, the thing with The Happening is, first of all, it came out in 2008. It's a 5.0 on IMDb. Written by M. Night Shyamalan. Now, I don't know about M. Night Shyamalan. I mean, I don't really know. I haven't seen too many of his films to judge him as a director, or to say if I, don't like him as a director, or if I do like him as a director. There's still a lot of movies I gotta see. I still have to see The Village, which I don't want to see because I heard it was awful, and it looks awful, and I know the plot. I've seen clips and trailers, and I know the plot to it, I know the twist to it. So if I'm going to watch The Village, it's going to be a movie, one of those movies where I don't really want to watch it, but I'm going to sit down and watch just to view it and give it a fair shot and a fair view. But I haven't seen The Village yet. I haven't seen Signs yet, which I've heard mixed opinions on. Mostly positive reviews, but I've also heard a few people say that they're not fans of it. But, yeah, so Signs, I've heard mixed reviews on. I did see After Earth. After Earth was horrible. I hate After Earth. The Sixth Sense, I did see. Thought it was a great horror film, to be honest. Thought it was really good. And I've seen this movie, M. Night Shyamalan's The Happening. Now, the thing with this movie is that, as you guys can tell, the title of this video doesn't say rant. It doesn't say this movie is a piece of crap. It doesn't say this movie is a piece of garbage or anything like that. Because for me, The Happening is an okay, decent time waster. Is it a great horror film? No. Does it have problems? Yes, it does. But it's not as bad as I think some people make it out to be. Some people say it's one of M. Night Shyamalan's worst movies. That's one of the most mediocre horror films they've ever seen. That's more like a comedy than a horror film, or that, it feels more humorous than a horror film. And the thing is, it does feel humorous at times, because the main problem with this movie for me is not the camera work, not the direction, not the idea, not the effects, because it is rated R. It has some decent effects in there. I like the idea of sort of this wind that has these mixture of chemicals and stuff, and it's sort of like Mother Nature getting back at the humans. And if this chemical and so this air, if air blows at all, if the wind picks up, then people start committing suicide. And it's like a mass attack where people are committing suicide. And I thought that the direction was handled well. I thought the shots were handled well. The main problem with this movie is probably the cast, especially the lead, Mark Wahlberg. Now, Mark Wahlberg, he's been in a lot of movies. It depends on what movie he's in, but usually Mark Wahlberg delivers a good performance. But in this movie, He was awful. I'm just gonna say this right now. Mark Wahlberg was the worst thing in this movie. I have no clue why he was leading this film. Mark Wahlberg just seemed out of place. His line seemed out of place. The movie, I felt, would have been way better if they just had a better lead. If they would have had a better lead, I would have said it's still a decent, fun time waster. But with Mark Wahlberg being the lead, I do agree with certain people. Like, it does make it humorous at times because you got this serious stuff going on. And then you got Mark Wahlberg's reactions, which are completely awful. And he's saying things like, well, what happened? What's going on? I mean, what's going on? It's a mass attack and people are committing suicide. And the other actors around him are acting really good. And then whenever Mark Wahlberg's on the screen, or even the girl from, I think she was from Yes Man, Zoe Deschanel. I think she was from Yes Man. Yeah, she was from Yes Man. She's also from Elf. She did a good job in those movies. But in this movie, I don't know. I didn't really feel like her acting was the best. She wasn't as mediocre as Mark Wahlberg. I mean, she wasn't so bad that I was laughing every line that she said. I mean, that's what it was with Mark Wahlberg. It seemed like every line he delivered was, either hysterically funny because the way his acting is, the way his lines are delivered are just so unbelievable that it makes you want to laugh. I'll give the movie that. It does have I will give it like that. I mean, Mark Wahlberg, he is an awful actor in this movie. That's also been said a lot too, but I will say that. I will agree with that. Mark Wahlberg is awful in this film. His acting is horrible. Maybe it was the script. Maybe it was just M. Night Shyamalan's direction. I have no clue, but Mark Wahlberg as lead was a horrible choice. But for me, that's the big problem with this film, is Mark Wahlberg as a lead. But I think if I look past that, I can still say it's a decent film because, I don't know, I enjoy the score, especially the main theme song. I enjoy the idea of sort of this wind that picks up and these grisly suicides that happen. And people, picking up a gun and shooting themselves, and then another person over here walks over, picks up the gun, shoots himself, and another person does it. Or when they're driving, they see people hanging from nooses and stuff like that. And I really bought that it was a pandemic. I really bought that it was, this outbreak that was going on, this uncontrollable thing. And it was suspenseful at times. At times, it got creepy, especially during the scene where, and what's so crazy is I think it's right after the scene where Mark Wahlberg talks to a fake plant. But that is an awful scene. It's awful, but it's also hilarious because of Mark Wahlberg's performance. But it's an awful scene. But the creepy scene, though, I think that it does have some creepy stuff in it. The scene where this guy falls in front of a lawnmower, and the lawnmower just runs him over, and, he gets chopped to pieces. Pretty grisly scene. Or there's also a scene where this video is being shown from, I don't know if it's from YouTube or something like that. And they're all watching it. This guy's in this, this lion or tiger den, and the tiger bites his arm off, and it bites the other arm off. Creepy idea. I thought it was pretty creepy and suspenseful. And I bought that this was a very serious topic. But when Mark Wahlberg is thrown in the mix, it makes it freaking hilarious. But I think that it does have a great idea behind it. I think it does have some good creepy scenes. I think that there are certain times where it has that post-apocalyptic look. That certain look that it's like the end of the world and stuff like that. I think it's well shot. I enjoy the main theme song. The cast was awful, though. I really didn't care for anybody in this cast. I will say that right now. Mark Wahlberg was the worst, but I just didn't care about the rest of the cast. I just didn't care. I mean, you've also got John Leguizamo from Land of the Dead. He was also in the Mario Brothers movie, live-action movie. I didn't really care for his performance in this movie. I honestly just did not care for this cast in this movie. The cast just didn't really have that much emotion to them. And that's also a big problem. It's not just Mark Wahlberg, although he is the worst actor in this movie. It's also the rest of the cast. I mean, it's just a dull cast. Not much of the acting in this movie. But I will say this though, the shots were well done. I will say this, that it has good effects. It has a good idea behind it. It has decent execution. You know, some decent post-apocalyptic looks and stuff like that, and some creepy ideas and creepy shots. And it does get moody and atmospheric at times. Although I will say this though, I hate the ending. I hate the ending because for me it didn't make any sense. Where pretty much what it's about is you got Mark Wahlberg as a teacher, you got him, and pretty much what happens is he has his girlfriend, or his wife, and his young girl. And one day there's this epidemic that's going on, and he's teaching a class about nature and stuff like that, and how Mother Nature will get back at the humans eventually. And it's just some awful stuff. And then it really kicks in because people start committing suicide. Mark Wahlberg gets in this train where his friend, John Leguizamo, Julian, him and his daughter, they go in this other Jeep, and he doesn't end up taking the train. Or I believe he gets in the train, but when they get there, when they leave, he goes with somebody else. But they all get on this train, they stop at this place, and they find that there's this epidemic going on. And from there on, it's pretty much about Mark Wahlberg and his team going from place to place, and there's a scene where this military guy pops up, and he says that when you're in larger groups, there's a bigger chance of people committing suicide. And when they're driving and walking through the town, it's pretty creepy. I mean, you see like people hanging from nooses and dead bodies everywhere, and they come across larger groups that are committing suicide. And it all leads to the ending of the film where they come across this country house, this person staying there, this old lady, and the wind blows and pretty much controls her, and she like takes her head and like breaks the windows in. I think this is the part where the movie got kind of lame. The ending of this movie I thought was very poorly executed because it just did not make any sense. And it felt kind of cheesy, but I'll get to in a second. I mean, I understand it's like, well, how do you stop an enemy that's literally the air? I mean, how can you stop, how is there an ending to that film if it's literally just air and stuff like that and wind? I get that, but the ending they chose was just laughable. Where pretty much this old lady, like I said, she's busting her head through windows to get the wind to go in the house. Mark Wahlberg and them all running across, like they all run, they get out of the house, they go to these like sort of places where one building's over here and one building's over here, and there's like a well or something inside of them. They can talk to each other through these buildings. And even that scene, I didn't really care for the dialogue. And you have this ending that is just laughable. So you have Mark Wahlberg that's doing a horrible job in this film. I did not care for the cast. And this ending is laughable, where Mark Wahlberg and like the Zoe Deschanel character, Alma, they both walk out of the buildings, and the wind is blowing and everything, but it's not affecting them. And they kiss and they hug, and they realize that nature really can't stop them, and the wind is blowing, but they're not committing suicide or anything like that. And that's pretty much where the movie ends. I mean, it shows, you know, a little bit later on where nature has finally stepped down, and the humans are finally getting back to peace. And what's so crazy is it shows like a different country, and the wind blows over there, and people are palsy and stuff like that, like they did over in the U.S. And I guess it's to set up a part 2. But The Happening does have its fair share of problems. I would say that. Mark Wahlberg is awful, the cast was awful, and the ending was laughable. But I will say this, though. Before the ending, it had some great shots. It was a good paced movie, in my opinion. I enjoyed the mood to it, the atmosphere, the post-apocalyptic feel. The idea of these people were committing suicide, pretty creepy at times. The effects were well done. I still feel it's a decent, okay horror film, but I can kind of see why people don't like this movie, but I can't honestly say that I hate this movie. I can say that it's, you know, not great. It's got a little bit of problems to it. You know, Mark Wahlberg, the ending, the cast, but it does have some good stuff to it. So I can say The Happening is a decent M. Night Shyamalan film that I don't mind. I think it's an okay, decent time. But is it great? No. Does it have problems? Yes. Is it flawless? No. But, you know, I think it's a decent time to watch this movie. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching my review on M. Night Shyamalan's The Happening. I'm gonna try and get back onto a more, either day-to-day movie reviewing schedule or a, at least one day apart movie reviewing schedule. But something had happened like in my personal life a little bit earlier this week that made me to where I needed to recover from it. Was feeling a bit sad about it, and I needed to recover, and I had no energy to do movie reviews, so took a break from YouTube for a little bit. But today I've been having a great weekend, and today's been great and fun, and I got the energy back to do some more movie reviews. So the Explorer of Horror, Horrorboy 465, decided to review The Happening. But anyways, guys, I'm the Explorer of Horror, Horrorboy 465, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye, guys.